The Alabama Farmers Federation and the Alabama Farmers Cooperative proudly present Simply Southern with your hosts Jim Allen and Mary Johnson.
Good morning and welcome to Simply Southern. I'm Jim Allen.
And I'm Mary Johnson. Coming up on today's show, we love our fried catfish here in the South. But do you know how it gets to your plate? We'll catch up with Alabama's Catfish Farmer of the Year to find out. And Samantha Carpenter will meet with an incredible group of Russelville students whose skill and ingenuity recently made international headlines. And Sydney Phelps of Bonnie Plants demonstrates how to take your tomato salsa up a notch.
But first we'll head west to Livingston, where a former wedding photographer is making some world-class custom rifles when Simply Southern returns.
There's no such thing as downtime when you own a farm. This is your land. You tend it and try to get the most from it, no matter the weather or time of day. It's been that way for generations. And for generations, your local quality co-op store has been there for you, with a full range of agriculture supplies and services, from feed to fertilizer, seed to grain storage, and the right hardware for any application. You'll always find what you need, plus friendly, knowledgeable advice at your local quality co-op store. There's one near you.
The blessing of Alabama agriculture is more than 3 meals a day. It means independence from foreign nations, freedom to pursue other jobs and activities, conservation of natural resources, and preservation of family values. For 93 years, the Alabama Farmers Federation has brought together the men and women whose work fills our plates and fuels the American dream.
Today's farming operation is more complex than ever before, with precision agriculture becoming an integral piece to farm management. AccuField provides precision agriculture technologies and site-specific management capabilities in a simplified and interactive format, helping you put all the pieces of the farming puzzle together. For more information, visit us at www.accufield.com.
When AJ was born with a heart defect, we practically lived at the hospital. We weren't prepared for that. My Alpha customers, my Alpha family made sure we had everything we needed. Now I'm even more motivated to help take care of them. Who I am fits what I do. I am Alpha.
For the best agents in the business, call Alpha.
Britt Jones is a guy that loves to shoot. Whether it's behind the lens of a Nikon or a rifle's iron sights, this Livingston native has done it all. Once in demand for weddings, Britt has traded his cameras for stocks and barrels and is now building a reputation for some demanding clientele.
Britt Jones didn't have a career in mind when he started building his own rifles. As a competitive target shooter, the guns Britt used weren't exactly common in West Alabama stores.
I was a photographer and I had a frame shop, a custom picture frame shop, and I started shooting again, just competition myself. I was building my own rifles. People saw the rifles and I was fortunate enough to win some matches, and it kind of snowballed into this. And now as I've dropped the photography part, I don't have time to do it, and I'm doing all rifles now.
Machine work is in Britt's blood. His father was an aircraft machinist, introducing in his son an active familiarity with the craft early on.
I grew up with a lot of this equipment in my backyard, so I ran my first lathe when I was 10 years old. Through that, I grew into several different machining operations, from automotive to general machining, and at one point in my different careers I've been under, we were actually manufacturing some automated machinery for the food industry too. And so I've had quite an extensive career throughout with machines.
Britt's company, Backwater Custom Rifles, builds specialized firearms for a wide range of interests, from hunting to long-range competitive shooting. In the 5 years he's been in operation, Britt's work has attracted some high-profile notice.
Right now I've got 2 guns over here. One of the shooters is in the lead now for the Shooter of the Year in IBS bench rest. The second gentleman is rookie. He's in the running now for Rookie Shooter of the Year in IBS bench rest, 1,000 yard. I build rifles for it's a wide range of people, but they're enthusiasts. When they pay for that once-in-a-lifetime shot, They want something they know is reliable and is going to put the bullet where it should go. And that's what they get with these guns.
Hitting a target not much larger than a quarter over a distance of several football fields requires precision equipment. While the tools and machines he employs are fascinating to observe, building a gun requires a fairly intense skill set.
A lot of people will look at these machines when you're running them. You've got it set up, you've got it running, and you're cutting steel. And well, that's easy, you're just looking at it. But they've missed the part you're being paid for, is the setup, is the planning, the material, the grinding of the tool bits, everything else that you're doing is what people don't see. The machine shop math is incredible. You've got to understand trig, you've got to understand some geometry. You really need to have some understanding of some basic physics, because you're dealing with anywhere from 55 to 60,000 psi of pressure in these chambers when the cartridge fires.
What began as a hobby is now a growing business. With interest in gun ownership on the rise and a rising popularity in competitive shooting, Backwater Custom Rifles is putting Livingston on the map for those with a love of shooting.
I've got rifles from Texas to Tennessee, Florida. I've got rifles pretty much all over the country. And it's just been word of mouth. When I started shooting, I realized I was going to have to build a rifle to compete. And then when I did that, it just turned into what I have now. And I've slowly just added, equipment and different services that I do. It can be all over the world, and that's what a custom rifle is. You build it to what you want.
For information on the services Britt Jones offers and to see more samples of his work, visit his website at backwatercustoms.com.
Britt really is a craftsman with the guns that he makes. Did you notice any big differences between his and what you might find at another store?
Well, I lifted one of the rifles and it weighed 30 pounds. I said, I'm not going to tote this through the woods. And
no.
It's a rifle for competitive shooting, so you don't tote it through the woods.
That would make sense.
It does. Right. Coming up next, a Northwest Alabama high school team is bringing worldwide acclaim to the state.
And later in the show, Kevin Worthington introduces us to Alabama's Catfish Farmer of the Year.
Alabama soybean farmers help fuel the state's economy. Soybeans are used to make clean, renewable biodiesel and are a key ingredient in feed for poultry, catfish, and livestock. Soybeans are used in dozens of products we use every day. But best of all, soybean farmers generate $258 million and more than 4,000 jobs for Alabama's economy, all while helping conserve our natural resources. Explore the power of soy.
We believe a plant should be more than a plant. This one is. It's all you need for your garden to succeed. Because it's a Bonnie plant. It represents hundreds of varieties of Bonnie's quality veggies and herbs. But more, it's from generations of Bonnie people who are passionate about sharing their love of gardening with you. Look for this little Bonnie plant and a whole family of plants like it in your garden center. Bonnie plants, so you'll know how to grow.
Support healthy food from local farmers by purchasing a Farming Feeds Alabama license plate. The tag funds education and promotion efforts, including Ag in the Classroom, agricultural scholarships, and youth programs. Get your Ag tag today.
Alabama wheat and feed grain farmers grow food, fuel, and freedom. Their harvest helps feed Alabama's multi-million-dollar livestock, catfish, and poultry industries, while reducing America's dependence on foreign countries for energy and food. By combining their strength with farmers of other commodities, feed grain growers are fueling the economic growth of Alabama communities.
Brought to you by the Alabama Beef Checkoff Program. Fire up the grills. Beef, it's what's for dinner.
Alabama has long been a leader in the aerospace field. A short trip from the launching pads where Werner von Braun's space program made history, a rocket team from Russelville recently put the state back on the world stage. Samantha Carpenter has more.
Well, today we have a prototype rocket that we've prepared for this upcoming season of TARC.
Russellville City Schools rocket team has a tough job ahead of them as they prepare for next year's Team America Rocketry Challenge, following their own act. These 7 students took top honors this year against 101 other schools nationwide in the world's largest student rocket contest. This summer, they represented the United States at the International Rocketry Challenge in Paris, defeating teams from France and the United Kingdom to claim the world title.
Whenever we won, there was a United Kingdom and a French team, and they said United, and we thought it was us because United both. So that was, we kind of got a little nervous right there.
The rocket team is part of the RCS engineering program, an after-school program promoting technological skill and education.
It's a program that was started about 8 years ago by Mr. Lee Brownell. It serves both the middle school and the high school. We compete in 2 competitions throughout the school year. During the fall, we compete in best robotics competition, and we do that during the fall months of the school year. And then during the spring, we compete in the Team America Rocketry Challenge, or TARC.
Winning the TARC competition required these students to send their rockets to precise altitudes, in narrow time frames, safeguarding a payload of a chicken egg from the slightest crack. While it certainly challenged their abilities in math and science, these Rocketeers found many of their school subjects put to the test.
It's very important that the kids see the real-world applications for the things that they're learning in the classroom. And of course, you have the rockets, you have the robotics, and I mean, honestly, a lot of people think, okay, well that's the main focus. You get your science in there, you get your math, but in both competitions, in both BEST and TARC, it's also very important that the students give a presentation, either for the robot or for the rocket.
The success of their world champion rocket team has created new interest in this sort of hands-on education at Russelville City Schools.
More people have asked me what my plans are for this program than any other program in the school, because of the success. So I think it gives us an opportunity to expand our programs. One of the first things that the students and I talked about were the fact that they were doing all of this in after school. We were hoping that we can create this as at least 1 or 2 classes during the day so that they're able to work on their robotics and their rocketry during a class period that would actually count for credit for them.
While in-school credit may still be awaiting liftoff, in-state acclaim for Alabama's newest heroes is far from lacking.
There were a lot of things that I weren't used to, like people asking for interviews and stuff. I generally felt like a little celebrity here.
Returning back on the plane from Paris, we had a greeting party in the airport, they passed a resolution, and we now have a holiday in our honor. So it's really been great. The community's been a really big support for us.
Everybody's excited, a small town from Alabama wins the world championship, and so if I think a lot of people see that their dreams in it as well. That if somebody so close to home can do this, then imagine what we can do.
3, 2, 1.
For Simply Southern, I'm Samantha Carpenter.
No, those Russellville students, they really show that you don't have to be a certified rocket scientist to be a world-renowned rocket scientist.
I think some of them are well on their way to being rocket scientists.
I think they are. They made our state proud.
Oh, yeah.
Up next, when it comes to powering summer fish fries, look no further than the state's many fish farms. We'll meet Alabama's Catfish Farmer of the Year when Simply Southern returns.
Alabama wheat and feed grain farmers grow food, fuel, and freedom. Their harvest helps feed Alabama's multi-million-dollar livestock, catfish, and poultry industries while reducing America's dependence on foreign countries for energy and food. By combining their strength with farmers of other commodities, feed grain growers are fueling the economic growth of Alabama communities.
For nearly 50 years, the electric cooperatives of Alabama have been giving young people an opportunity to visit our nation's capital, where they learn about the value of electric cooperatives and the importance of grassroots advocacy. Top students join with thousands of others touring monuments, landmarks, and meeting with their congressional delegation. The Rural Electric Youth Tour program, just one more way the electric cooperatives of Alabama are investing in the future of our state.
Brought to you by the Alabama Beef Checkoff Program. Fire up the grills. Beef, it's what's for dinner. Alabama soybean farmers help fuel the state's economy. Soybeans are used to make clean, renewable biodiesel and are a key ingredient in feed for poultry, catfish, and livestock. Soybeans are used in dozens of products we use every day. But best of all, soybean farmers generate $258 million and more than 4,000 jobs for Alabama's economy, all while helping conserve our natural resources. Explore the power of soy.
Southern cooking wouldn't be the same without catfish. Grilled or fried, with slaw or hush puppies, Alabamians love some catfish. You might think of the river when you think of these whiskered critters, but much of the catfish we eat comes from a farm. And who better to give us a tour than the Alabama Catfish Farmer of the Year?
Sage Spree has worked on a catfish farm all his life.
My dad's been raising catfish for over 40 years, and he just knew some people that had dug some ponds, and Dad dug a few ponds, and like he used to say, he thought it'd be the easiest work he ever did. He just didn't really know what he was getting into.
Today, the Spree farm covers about 5,000 acres, with 450 underwater. Sage says most folks would be surprised to find out how much work is involved in getting a catfish that's the size of your finger, big enough to be the main course at dinner.
There's a misconception, I think, that you just go put these fish in the ponds and feed them a little bit of feed, and everything else takes care of itself, and that's not the case. We put these fish in. There's so many of them per acre, the head count and then the body weight, so many fish per acre that we have to use artificial aeration. These fish can die in 30 minutes. You could lose your whole, if the oxygen's low enough in the pond and somebody's not monitoring it, they can die in a hurry.
Because oxygen typically drops at night, Spree's typical workday during the summer runs from mid-afternoon until after dawn the next day. With the help of computers and hired help, he constantly monitors oxygen levels all night long.
Our most stressful months are May, June, July, August, and September. You know, like right now, you can see I've got a little sweat on my forehead here, and days like today, these ponds, photosynthesis creates the oxygen. But at night, obviously, we don't have the sun out. Our oxygen levels start going down. We have so many fish in these ponds that they literally just suck the oxygen out. And that's where these electric aerators that we have, they come into play. They actually put oxygen back in the water, but even sometimes they're not enough, and we have to go to power takeoff driven equipment that goes behind farm tractors to help out also. And you can have CO2 problems. I mean, sometimes we have to put out hydrated lime in the middle of the night, put out chemicals in the middle of the night. It's just a 24/7, or like a lot of people in the catfish business tell you, it's 25/8.
In addition to the stresses of daily farm operations, Spree says there are a number of factors that take place thousands of miles from here that make his job difficult.
All our input costs, all our feed, our electricity, our labor cost, our insurance, that all comes out of our pocket. And you know, we're not subsidized by the government. Some of our foreign competitors, some of our Asian ones, they are. And we have certain rules, regulations that we have to go by. Our foreign competitors are able, when they have sick fish, they're able to put out chemicals that are known carcinogens to our government that obviously we can't use and wouldn't use. Most of the chemicals we use to treat our ponds, we use things that like a typical water treatment facility, drinking water. You know, like your city or town would use to treat water. That's what we use in these ponds.
Once they're harvested, these fish are processed and flash frozen as soon as they arrive at the plant, so there's nothing fresher. And when it comes to food safety, Sage says there's no other country that can compete with the United States.
I'm proud to be a U.S. catfish farmer, and I love eating our product.
For Simply Southern, I'm Kevin Worthington.
Farmers like Sage are part of a really important industry for the state of Alabama. We actually rank second in the nation in catfish production.
You know, while we're on catfish, I'd like to remind everybody out there that when you go to order catfish in a restaurant, notice the sign on the menu or on the wall that states that it's U.S. farm-raised catfish. You don't want catfish from out of the country.
Yep, U.S. farm-raised is going to taste a lot better. After the break, we're cooking with Sid. Sydney Phelps and Bonnie Plants will demonstrate how to give your summer salsa an extra kick using your barbecue grill. Stay tuned. Simply Southern returns in a moment.
I'm just like my customers. I work hard and I play hard. I also help my dad on the farm when I can. That's the great thing about Alpha. We work hard for our customers. It's more than price. It's personal attention and great claim service. Hey, bud.
For the best agents in the business, call Alpha.
What one thing can you say about your local quality co-op store? You can trust us. You get what you need for your farm, for your lawn and garden, and the safest products for your pets. We're locally owned and operated, and you can trust that we care about our community and the people in it. So if you're a raised bed gardener, a rose gardener, or if you farm hundreds of acres, the Quality Co-op Store has exactly what you need to get the job done. All this plus friendly, knowledgeable advice. Your Quality Co-op Store. There's one near you.
Support healthy food from local farmers by purchasing a Farming Feeds Alabama license plate. The tag funds education and promotion efforts, including Ag in the Classroom, agricultural scholarships, and youth programs. Get your Ag tag today.
We believe a plant should be more than a plant. This one is. It's all you need for your garden to succeed. Because it's a Bonnie plant. It represents hundreds of varieties of Bonnie's quality veggies and herbs. But more, it's from generations of Bonnie people who are passionate about sharing their love of gardening with you. Look for this little Bonnie plant and a whole family of plants like it in your garden center. Bonnie plants, so you'll know how to grow.
Hey folks, Sydney Phelps with Bonnie Plants again, back in the kitchen. And today we want to talk about making fresh grilled salsa. Now, you can do this with all those plants that are producing so much in the garden right now. We've got Roma tomatoes, we've got jalapeno peppers. You can use habanero if you wanted more spice. You can even go a little lighter with some poblano for a mild chili that's got some smoke to it. You pretty much can pick whatever you want, but we went the jalapeno today to get a little extra spice. We've got a Spanish white onion here and some fresh cilantro. And these are going to be our ingredients for our salsa. Now, first thing we want to do is we want to get all these ingredients. I've got some here in a bowl, fresh with olive oil. So we've already got some olive oil in there, and I'm going to just mix these up, get these to the bottom. Probably better just to get the hands in there. Well, you want to get a good coating of olive oil around all of these before we put them on the grill. The reason for that is this is going to help char that outside. It's also going to give it some caramelization. So the onion, we've got the peppers and everything like that. Now the grill is outside preheating right now. We're going to go out there, we're going to throw these on, and we're going to get them started and get them charred before we bring them back in and run them through the processor. So let's take these out and throw them on the grill. Now what we're going to do here is the grill is already preheated. You want it at 400 or 500 degrees, a good hot temperature. We're going to throw the vegetables on here. They're already dosed in olive oil. That's why you can see some of the flames coming up. Close the grill down, 5 to 10 minutes. Rotate as needed to get that even char across the vegetables, and we'll pull them up. Now we've got our vegetables off the grill, and as you can see, they've got great grill marks and char marks all through. Now, from here, we're going to take the skins off the Romas, we're going to chop up the peppers and core them, and basically get everything ready to go in the blender. So what we're doing is we're taking off the skins from the exterior of the tomatoes, and we're taking out this core. And the core is just basically not going to have that flavor, not going to have the texture that we want for the salsa. So we just basically easily pull that skin off with the knife, get that out of there, and that's what we're looking for, is just the heart of the tomato itself. And sure, you're going to lose the char look, but that flavor is in there with the smoke. Okay, from that point, we've got those tomatoes in there. I'm chopping up some cilantro to get a flavor. We're just going to layer this in. We're going to get the cilantro cut up. We're going to add it in to our blender. But now we're going to get some onions out of here. The onions you really don't have to do a whole lot with. Just pretty much slice them in half. From there, we're going to get our garlic cloves out. We added these in last minute. This just gives that garlicky flavor that everybody likes. And from there, the last thing we are going to add is going to be our peppers. And these are jalapeno peppers. We're going to split these down the center, and we're going to cut them up and core the cores out of them. So, okay, we've got everything combined here in the blender. The only thing we want to add here is a little bit of pepper, and this is going to be some sea salt for taste. Basically, the texture you're going to go through from here is going to be all based on what you want. Do you want a chunky salsa or do you want a smooth salsa? We're going to go right in between. Let it run. Our salsa is looking great. Going to get some Tostitos and corn chips, and we'll be ready for the party. So, find out more recipes like this, go to bonnieplants.com or check out the mobile app, Homegrown with Bonnie Plants.
You know, we actually really like to make homemade salsa in our house, and I've never thought of grilling the vegetables first.
I've never made it. You need to send me a recipe.
I will have to send you a recipe. Fresh salsa is just, it's really good. Wow. You could eat the whole thing in one sitting. For additional recipes or anything else you need to know about gardening, visit bonnieplants.com. You can also find out more about the stories we featured today by visiting their individual websites. To see everything Backwater Custom Rifles has to offer, get more information at backwatercustoms.com. You can also find catfish recipes at alphafarmers.org. Just type catfish in the search box at the top right of the page.
And of course, to stay up to date on what we're doing here, be sure to like our Simply Southern Facebook page or visit our website at simplysouthern.tv.net. Be sure to join us next week as we continue to explore the people, places, and stories around the South. Thanks for joining us for this episode of Simply Southern. I'm Jim Allen.
And I'm Mary Johnson. We hope to see you again next week.
Simply Southern is a production of the Alabama Farmers Cooperative and the Alabama Farmers Federation.